Hello and welcome to Aviation 101. I am here with some really cool news update on ADD, ADHD, and the FAA and the medical issuance process. Quick disclaimer, I am not an aviation medical examiner. However, I have had a lot of students who have tried to get an FAA medical and struggled with the process that takes a long time, or at least it used to. But I have some good news. You might qualify to get your medical a lot faster under new FAA guidance that they just released. This is just updated for aviation medical examiners. Those are the doctors you're going to go to get your medical. Now, what have they changed? They have added a whole bunch of resources to their website. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video. Please check that out. Follow along. Everything's documented there. This is a high-level overview of what changed. In the past, if you had any kind of ADD, ADHD past diagnosis or use of medications, then there was a very lengthy process that you had to go through. The FAA is now calling it the standard track. I am not going to talk about that because nothing has changed with that. What has changed is that if you have not had any treatment or use of ADD or ADHD medications or symptoms in the last 4 years prior to you trying to get an FAA medical, then you can follow what they call the fast track, which is really cool because previously this process took 2 years, as much as maybe longer. I've had students give me really long timelines and it was taking a long time. If you follow the FAA guidance, you get all your required documents, you bring these documents, and I'll show you the checklist in a second, you bring that to your FAA medical appointment with your aviation medical examiner. If you meet all the criteria and the records show the right information, you bring everything, then your medical can be issued right then. Hallelujah. Not like a month, year-long waiting process. That is really cool. So let's quickly mention this. You are on that. You can be on that fast track again if you haven't used ADD or ADHD meds for any reason or treatment or no symptoms also the past 4 years prior to you trying to get the medical. And you have to have documentation of that. It's truly worth it to you to get all the documentation together before you go to that appointment with the FAA medical examiner. You have to show no instability in these areas: academic, occupational, social functioning, and you can't have had any other psychiatric conditions or diagnosis. This is looking at the past 4 years. If you qualify, then you go on this FAA fast track. It is way faster than the standard track, so long as you bring the right records and you get what you need. So let's take a look quickly at that checklist. Make sure you're collecting this information and you have it before your appointment with the Aviation Medical Examiner, or the AME. Again, I'm going to put a link to all the FAA guidance in the description so you can look at this checklist, use this checklist, please. But you have all the records that you need to get. Make sure you're getting them from the correct people. Other medical records, another thing people tend to forget: driver's license records, academic records, including transcripts, and a personal statement. So you get all this documentation. Make sure to bring several copies. Bring one for your AME to upload at your appointment. You want to have a copy of all this in case somehow it gets lost. But the really awesome thing is, if your records show that you haven't had any ADHD medication use, ADD medication use, or symptoms for either of these things in the past 4 years, then the AME issues you a medical on the spot. Yes, no waiting around, and you get to start flying. Yay, medical. Smiley face. Okay. If you don't meet the criteria, it's still possible to get a medical. I've had students, they had used ADD, ADHD medications in high school, and I'm talking about college students generally, so they have used it in the past 4 years. If you don't meet the criteria, it's okay. You can still go through the FAA's process. I know many pilots who have gone through this. Some of them are flying at airlines now. They're in the industry. They're out there working. They're flight instructing. You can do it. It's just you need to expect a long process. I recommend looking into the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association for support during this process. It is lengthy. You have to have everything in order, and there's other YouTube resources about that. But just wanted to provide this really good news update for people who are looking at getting a medical and have had in the past ADD, ADHD, but have been symptom-free, prescription-free for the last 4 years. It's very good news for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments what else would you like me to cover for different topics. Have a great day.